So when I was younger, I was dealing with pretty high amounts of stress. I had a lot of personal things that I hadn't worked through. I was trying to get good grades in school, all while working a job and attending extracurricular activities. My stress levels were so high at one point that it raised my blood pressure to cause me to have a spontaneous nosebleed, which was not a great thing to happen in front of your parents. Now, your examples might not be as dramatic, but everyone deals with stress in their daily lives. And it's important that we know how to mitigate and manage that stress in order to continue living our best life. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Tyler Warlow and I go by The Mengineer. I make videos on how to improve your life through your confidence, capabilities, and overall happiness. In today's video, I figured I would give y'all my advice and maybe some of the things that I have done to help me manage my stress levels over the years. While I do still feel stress sometimes, it's not nearly to the level that I used to deal with, and I'm a lot more capable of handling it now. If you're interested in figuring out how to do this, let's go ahead and jump into the video. The first thing that I want to say is not all stress is bad. If you take on the mindset that all stress is bad, you are inherently going to stress yourself out because you're going to be worrying about things way too much and worrying over these little details. And if one thing doesn't go quite right, then you're going to get stressed out about being stressed. So one thing to understand is that not all stress is bad. Stress can help you to grow and improve as an individual. For example, if you take going to the gym, when you go to the gym, you are breaking down your muscles by inducing mechanical stress to them, which then allows them to grow. If you go through stressful situations but in manageable doses, it helps you to build a thicker skin and better be able to manage that stress on a day-to-day basis. Think about all the new parents out there. Having a newborn child is an incredibly stressful event. And afterwards, a lot of people are a lot better at handling stress. Now, that doesn't go for everyone, but you'd be surprised at how many of those parents look back at when they were young and think about the things that they were stressed out about and were like, wow, that's really nothing compared to what I deal with now. So you're going to get better at dealing with stress over time, and it's going to help you to improve and grow. The thing that you need to be careful about is dealing with chronic stress. So if you're dealing with high levels of stress over long periods of time, that's when it can start to have impacts on your health. It can increase your risk of disease, and it can also cause you to not sleep as well and impact other health factors. So that's where you want to be careful, and that's why we're going to be discussing these strategies and these tips that I've personally used to help manage your stress. This is the first thing that I started doing to help me manage my stress. And when I went through my depression and started doing therapy, it was the first thing that I picked back up after discussion with my therapist. Exercise helps you to learn how to manage stress. Because first off, you're dealing with the strain of the exercise, which helps to kind of improve your mental toughness a little bit. And then additionally, by doing hard exercise, your body is going to release chemicals and endorphins that help your body to feel good and help improve your mind over time. This is usually an effect that starts happening as you've exercised longer, so it's important to stick with the exercise and do it on a regular and consistent basis. Most people who stick with exercise start to notice if they go a little bit without it that they start to feel agitated and irritated. And it's because their body comes to learn to love and expect the stimulation, which helps to take some energy away from the things that you might be dealing with. I know that whenever I'm feeling particularly frustrated or upset over something, I'll go to the gym because the gym forces me to focus on a particular task at hand, especially if it is something difficult. By forcing me to remove my attention from whatever it was that was stressing me and focus on this new situation, by the time that I finish my gym session, when I come back to that other thing, it doesn't seem so bad anymore because I had a moment to step away from it and not be so wrapped up in it. I believe that exercise is the number one thing that you can do to manage and mitigate your stress, but let's go ahead and move on to the next tip. Next up, you're going to want to make sure that you are managing your sleep. Now, there are several people that would put this at number one instead of exercise, But in my opinion, the reason that I put exercise first is that it can actually help to improve your sleep. Because an unfortunate thing that can happen when you start dealing with high levels of stress is that it can impact your sleep. I know that my wife personally deals with this a lot, and if she's experiencing highly stressful situations, then she has a tendency to wake up more through the night. And in my opinion, that exercising helps to tire you out a little bit and be able to sleep a little bit more consistently. But that's not going to be the case for all people, so that's why I put it right at number 2. Sleep is a time for you to heal and to reset. When you sleep, your body is healing. And beyond your body, so is your mind. Your mind actually replays the situations that you went through in the day, and it actually helps to take away the emotion from emotional situations. There were studies in the past of soldiers who were dealing with PTSD. They found that a big part of the reason that these soldiers were dealing with PTSD was that they weren't getting adequate amounts of sleep. So their brain wasn't able to help reset and kind of take away the emotionality from the memories that they were dealing with. The studies found that once they were able to help induce certain sleep stages, that it acted as a therapy of sorts and helped to take away the emotionality from some of those traumatic events, which then of course led to more sleep, which helped to improve the PTSD. Now, obviously, that's not a full fix for PTSD. There's other factors that are involved, but it shows just how much of an impact sleep can have on your stress levels. So you should make sure that you prioritize it. First off, make sure that you're taking time away from the computer about an hour before you go to bed, and then make sure that you're giving yourself complete darkness and setting up an optimal environment for you to sleep in. You don't want to be having your phone next to you that can instantly start giving you notifications throughout the night and will be waking you up. Instead, allow yourself to have an environment away from electronics that is meant only for sleeping, and establish good sleep habits and hygiene. This is going to help your body reset and heal at the end of the day, which will help you to manage your stress. Next up, we're going to talk about your nutrition. You want to make sure that for a majority of your foods, you are eating healthy and whole foods. By eating these healthy whole foods, it's going to further aid your body in the recovery process. This helps to mitigate stress in the long term. If you're regularly eating processed food, you are not giving your body the nutrition that it needs in order to properly heal itself from the stress that you are experiencing. On top of that, a lot of processed food can cause these inflammatory responses in the body. It can cause people's stomachs to be upset, it can cause their skin to not feel good, and as a result, that only serves to heighten people's levels of stress because people worry about how they look in front of others, if that pimple is going to be there, or how their weight is. If you're eating healthy whole foods, that's not something that you have to worry about as often. And as a result, it takes away some stress from dealing with the day-to-day things. On top of that, you're just going to feel better because the whole foods are going to give you better sources of energy and nutrients. This is going to help you to move throughout your day more without relying on external things such as caffeine, which can, again, disrupt your sleep, which then impacts your stress levels. As you can see, a lot of these things play into one another. So it's important to manage all of them together and move towards a healthy lifestyle, because a healthy lifestyle in general is going to help you to mitigate stress. As I hinted to earlier, the next thing that I'm going to talk about is how you want to expose yourself to stressful situations. This is because stressful situations help your body to adapt and grow, and you to build a resiliency towards stress. A really good example of this is people who do cold exposure. There are a lot of people out there that start their days with cold showers or doing a cold plunge, and they slowly increase the amount of time over time. That first initial drop into the water is always going to induce some sort of adrenaline and anxiety response, which is a sign to your body that you are under stress. But it's usually a stressful situation that they know they can handle. So they take the time to do techniques to help them get through it, whether that's distraction, breathing, or some other technique. But because people are regularly exposing themselves to this cold water that is not a pleasant feeling to be in, it helps them to build a mental resiliency of sorts. And it helps them to be able to move through more of the day-to-day life without dealing as much stress, because they have techniques that they've built for being able to handle those stressful situations. Now, here's the important thing. You want to expose yourself to stressful events regularly. However, you want these stressful events to be manageable. These events need to be things that aren't going to bring any actual harm to you, whether that's mentally or physically. They need to be challenging, but something that you can push yourself through. If it causes any harm, then you're actually going to have the opposite effect and most likely cause yourself to be more stressed. You can do this kind of thing through multiple ways. Like I said, you have the cold plunge example. Exercise is another great one, but also putting yourself in situations that you're not necessarily comfortable with. For example, when I was younger, I really disliked public speaking, but while I was in college, I was forced to give a lot of group presentations. And as a result, I've gotten much better at presenting, and it doesn't cause me nearly as much stress as it used to. So by regularly stepping outside of your comfort zone and trying things that might make you a little bit uncomfortable, it's going to help you to build some mental resiliency and help you to better manage the stress of the things that might otherwise have stressed you out. Now, the final thing that I'm going to say you need to do to manage your stress is just learn to live your life. I think so many people out there worry way too much about managing every little thing. And in my opinion, that just causes a more stressful event. That is something that I actually dealt with a lot in college. I had a period of about a year or two where I was trying to schedule every minute of my time. And as a result, if my time ended up coming a little bit off of that schedule, I would get really worked up that I wasn't meeting the things that I wanted to meet. So you got to remember to give yourself time in life to just live and enjoy the moments that you're in. Not everything, not every single moment needs to be about optimizing or improving yourself. It's important to be present in the moment and just enjoy the time that you're having, because that's the thing that's really going to bring you happiness. If you're doing something that you're having a lot of fun with, whether that's hanging out with friends or going to see a movie, then make sure that you're being present in that moment. Because if your mind is elsewhere, you're not really taking that time to reset and let that thing be the enjoyable experience that it actually is. For me, I had to work through therapy to learn this lesson. So I'm hoping that some of y'all can hear what I'm saying and find your own way of mitigating it. But therapy is also a good option. So that brings us to the end of the video. I hope that these tips were helpful for y'all and that they helped a few of you in terms of managing your stress. If you found the information in this video to be helpful or informative at all, please be sure to leave me a like and subscribe to the channel to join me along in this self-improvement journey. If you have any of your own thoughts, ideas, or opinions, let me know with a comment down below. If you're interested in more of my videos where I talk about health-related topics, be sure to check out this video right here where I talk about burnout. If you're interested in more of my most recent stuff, be sure to check out this video right here. But until the next time, this is the Mengineer, signing off.